Alright, hey everybody, Follower 960, and today we're back with some more Fallout New Vegas. So in the last episode, we just finished up meeting with Doc Mitchell, raided his house for some stuff, and we were given our Pip-Boy. So the Pip-Boy is this nice little thing. As you go around, it will explain all the different areas. Just for the record, I wanted to start off talking about the radio. Thanks to copyright, I'm not allowed to play any sort of radio tunes, so I really apologize for that. But the ambient noise thing will be going off, and if you guys want some non-copyrighted music in the video, just in the background, tell me about that, and I will start editing that in. So there are these. Ooh, that was really like heavy Wisconsin Canadian area. I apologize to the Wisconsin Canadian people out there. I don't know why I discriminate against the Wisconsin people. What are they called? Anyway, it gets divided up into a couple little sections: stats, item, and data. In each of these, there are different little. Sorry about that. There are about, I think there's 5 for everyone. Yep, okay. So there are 3 with 5 different ones. In the stats, you have status, which tells you your condition, radiation, and any active effects you have going on right now. You can check your radiation, but a lot of the time it will tell you on your condition too, I think. Also for your condition, it will tell you your level, HP, AP, and experience. HP is obviously how much health you have. Or sorry, your level is how leveled you are. That is kind of an arbitrary stat considering there are no level boundaries for stuff in the game, minus how strong you are. HP is how much health you have overall. This can be healed with stim packs, food, or a lot of other items in the game, especially if you take the survival skill tree. AP are called action points. It is the points that you have to perform stuff in VATS. And XP is how much experience you get from quests in order to level up. Special is what I was talking about earlier. These are all your different stats. As you can see, my perception is altered, as is my intelligence and my luck. This is because of my 4 eyes perk, where I am not wearing glasses right now. If I was wearing glasses, this would be 6, so it will be as soon as I mess with my inventory. Intelligence because I put 4 of my skill points, and luck because that's where I put 1 of them. Skills are the other stuff that are affected by special. As you can see, some of them are plus because of my effects. Since I have +2 to speech and +2 to melee weapons, it is enhancing my speech and melee weapons. So there are a lot of different stuff here that I will be going over slowly throughout the LP, since it would really take up too much time. Here are all the perks you have, and currently these 2 traits are all I've got. Like I said, please tell me if you want me to change out Trigger Discipline for Wild Wasteland. And we'll be getting to General later, but as for now, you can go to your reputation with different classes. And since we haven't met any of the other classes, we are just kind of unknown. The other part is all the different things you've done and your karmatic state. So as you start the game, you are neutral. And as you level up, this title will become different. Also, as you change, or every level has a different karmatic state depending on if you're evil, good, or neutral. Usually I play good, but I kind of want to play evil. But we'll see how that turns out. So a bunch of DLC weapons, and depending on the tag perks that you pick, you get a weapon corresponding to it. So since I picked guns as one of them, I got a 9mm pistol. If I would have picked something like energy weapons or melee, I would have gotten like a bat or a laser pistol, I think. So right here, apparel, it goes ahead and runs all that over if you guys want to read that. I usually like to start off with the Armored Vault 13 jumpsuit from the original pack. We have a bunch of aid stuff here. Stim backs are really, really, really important, and I think I'm going to put that on 1 for now. So that's your hotbar. As you can see, 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. You can all quick assign stuff, so I can put 3... What do I want to put with 3? I guess the weather millimeter pistol. So you can literally put anything on there. The only reason that 2 is unavailable is because it is ammo switch, and we'll be getting into different kinds of ammo a little bit later. It actually tells you right there if you really want to go into that right now. So pre-war hat and reading glasses. Aid, you get this for starting up the new game, basically, or not starting up the new game, but getting the what's the word I'm looking for? The DLC stuff I have from the Ultimate Edition gives me a lot of this stuff. I usually sell most of it off except for the weapon repair kit, since those can be really, really useful. Miscellaneous is just random shit you have in your inventory. A lot of the time, bobby pins are far more important, since that is lockpicking stuff. Data tells you where you are in the area around you, so this is where we are. The world map, which we haven't been to yet, so we can't really see much of it. All the quests you have, so DLC hasn't kicked in yet, but we'll be seeing those in a second. Any sort of miscellaneous things that you have, you start off with that one, and the radio like I mentioned earlier. So now we can head out into the wasteland, but before I go, you can see that now my perception is 7 since I have the pre-war hat, which gives perception a 1, and reading glasses, which gives 2 perception. So let's go ahead and head outside. First time into the wasteland, you get that nice little blinding your ass effect. So as soon as you step out into the wasteland, you get all of the DLC perks if you have any of them. You guys already know on my channel I have Honest Hearts DLC, so if you guys want to see that, that is up on my channel as well. Other DLC may be explored after this Let's Play is done, or maybe sometime in the middle of the Let's Play. So for the time being, really just ignore that. First thing you want to probably do when you get here is head over to this little area. If you like the Mojave Express stuff, then this is a box. Later in the game, there are identical boxes to it in different areas, so I can put stuff in the box if I had another one to ship it to any other area that I want. For some reason, the last DLC always comes first. Sorry. Though you were told to go see Sunny Smiles, the first thing I really recommend to do is go see Chet. So he can tell you a lot about the different kinds of ammo types, but I don't really care for them, honestly. I mean, I know a couple of them have really cool effects that I would like to go into, but honestly, I don't know. It's just, I don't really care for the different ammo types, honestly. It's boring to me for the most part. I just don't think they're very fun to mess around with compared to the regular ones. And I get that is completely wrong and terribly uneducated. So if you wanted to raid Doc Mitchell's house to get a bunch of cheap caps in the game, you can go ahead and do that. Caps are the currency by which you trade with. You can, everything has a price depending on what it is. A lot of things cost anywhere from 0.1 to 500,000 caps, especially if you have the Gunrunner's Arsenal perk and are trying to collect those weapons, which, by the way, as I will be seeing them, I will be picking them up through a series of console commands where I add caps to it, take it, and then put it on one of my followers. Followers we will be getting to relatively later, not that much further down the line, but kind of later. And then saving them in a chest in whatever my home base is until the end of the Let's Play where I will be showing them off. So I won't actually be using GRA weapons unless I can afford to take the caps out of my personal inventory to start using them again. But yeah, that is what that's going to do. So barter works a lot with the trading stuff. As you can see, the higher barter it is, the more you can sell stuff for and the less you will buy stuff for, which is pretty useful getting it early on. I've never really had high enough barter to really take care of that. So what you want to grab from this guy first off is probably just the, well, any ammo if you really feel like you need it, but I think I'm going to be fine considering you get some ammo later on. What you really want to do is go to weapons, and as you can see there is GRA stuff already, and find the shovel. This is one of the few places where you can get shovels in the game. You'll see why I want the shovel in a second. There is also a shovel right there, but you can't do anything with it, so point of reference. Oh, excuse me. Point of reference if you want to know what one of those things looks like. So even though we were told to go talk to Sunny Smiles, I really would just want to explore Good Springs first. Good Springs right here is the town that you start out in. This is the robot that saved you, by the way. We won't be talking to him much considering I think he's kind of a boring character. So just looking around Good Springs, you can see there are a couple spots you really want to go first. We'll be going to that place later. We'll be going to that place in a little bit. Obviously, we'll be going to the Prospector Saloon very quickly. But where I want to go first is up there to the Good Springs Graveyard. He's a pretty cool guy. So the reason that I want to go up to the graveyard first is because there's some cool stuff. It's also why I wanted the shovel, by the way, because you can dig up graves in this game. And though that's not terribly important very often, there are a lot of places in the game that are worth exploring with the shovel. One of them actually yields you a special weapon. Or, I think the only one, really. I kind of just like to get the shovel early on for this area and to keep it in my inventory for basically the rest of the game when needed. So, only with the shovel in your inventory can you access graves that look like this. And yes, you can only access graves that look like that. As you can see, that is a not freshly buried grave, so we can't get into it. Also, be careful not to actually click on top of them. So, right here is the collectibles of the game. If anyone played Fallout 3, you will know that there were bobbleheads that gave you special perks. These are snow globes. So, for the different areas in the game, you have limited edition Mojave landmark snow globes, which will become extremely useful later. But there are, I think, 8 of them in the original game, and for each DLC, there is a new one. One really cool thing you can do is actually kill birds for exactly 1 experience. So that's pretty neat. And right here is the grave you were buried in the opening cutscene. You can't actually get anything off the distinctive cigarette butt. Wow. I didn't even notice that. That's really cool. Dude, that is really amazing. That's not a cigarette butt, by the way. So, another thing you can do in the game, which is really, really useful considering, look how big this fucking game is. Like, oh my god. There's so much stuff everywhere. Don't mind these landmarks. They're just DLC stuff for whenever we do stuff like that. So what you can do when you find multiple areas is travel to different landmarks at the cost of a loading screen. PC Master Race means that they are not that long. So now that we've taken care of that and gotten some stuff out of the graveyard, I'm sorry if I missed a grave and that's killing you on the inside. We are finally greeted by a sunny smile. So we can ask her a bunch of stuff like how to get to Prim if you really want to kick off the game, but I really recommend you run through some of the earlier stuff first. So she will tell you to meet her outside, which you probably should if you want to go through the tutorial stuff. Generally, though, the tutorial stuff is really unnecessary. I just like to do some of it because it gets you some free caps starting off and a free weapon. So if you're into that kind of stuff, which I am. For some reason, the bottles aren't spawned in yet. Oh, there they go. Okay, so mouse aiming, boop, boopy, boopy. So you only have to shoot 3, but if you shoot 4, then you're cool. When a weapon is in poor condition like mine just is, it will sometimes jam when you're reloading it, and when the condition bar drops all the way, you won't be able to use it at all. Certain weapons use different ammos. All weapons use different ammos for the most part. A lot of the time, ammo isn't all that expensive, especially not early in the game. But I would still recommend conserving as much ammo as possible. Like, don't try and burn it all at once and really save on the ammo. Considering it's nice to have a stockpile of ammo, as you'll see later in the game. So this weapon that she gave us is the varmint rifle. We won't be seeing much of that for very long, considering that a lot of the weapons I already have are exponentially better than the varmint rifle, and a lot of the weapons you get very early on are way better than the varmint rifle. So, one of the cooler things about Fallout New Vegas is the fact that there are different weapons for similar weapon types. So this isn't the only gun that's going to use 5.56mm. So usually you'd have to follow her to come here, but really you just want to run through here. If you'd like to follow her, you can. Not on Facebook or anything, but in the video game. My draw distance may be a little bit down considering this is PC stuff, but... So these are geckos, the first enemies you may be encountering in the game. And if you're playing on PC like I am, you can go ahead and press V to go into VATS. This is what action points are used for. As you can see off to the side, it is blinking how much it will cost to hit a certain area. A lot of the time, I just like to aim for the head. Certain weapons have different costs in AP for... most weapons have different costs of AP in how much... or how many times you can shoot them. So, more damaging weapons will cost more, and less damaging weapons will cost less. Some weapons are just in it for the AP, though. So, one-handed weapons usually are really good for high AP. If you really love using VATS, which I do, and is not as necessary as it was, and... oh, sorry, I'm used to TF2 jumping. I'm still TF2 jumping, that's weird. VATS isn't as necessary in this game, considering, like, slightly true iron sights, and these are actually way better than real true iron sights. If you want to use true iron sights, you can go into the menu and check that out. Alright, I guess I'll be showing off the menu sometime in this episode to show that off. So what you want to do really fast is run down here, since there is a woman being attacked by a group of geckos. This is actually one of the worst situations you can find her in. Like I said, I usually like to aim for the head for the most part. I also don't want to mess around here. Wow, she is getting destroyed. So as you can see, though I can only aim once with the varmint rifle with the 10mm pistol, I can aim a lot. So you really, really, really do not want her to die this early on. And she didn't. So once you kill all 3 of the geckos, you can talk to her. This isn't a huge deal, but it does give you the first spot into reputation. You can read a lot about the reputations here, and it will tell you all the different it will tell you all the different things about it. So, most good? Oh, the most good. That's weird how they do it backwards. I've never actually read into it before. Most bad. Most good, most bad. That's just funny. So I usually like to have pretty good reputations with all the good factions is what I find. Like I really, oh my god, I keep TF2 jumping. I'm really sorry about that. Why am I trying to glitch walk? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm sorry. I hate this area so much. It does like nothing for you. So once you save her, you want to go ahead and run back to Sunny Smiles. This is usually where I end the inventory, where I usually end the tutorial, because the next part is about the survival stuff. And if you guys want to do that, that's okay, but honestly, I don't like to that much. Usually this is where you be introduced to fast travel, and I think it does introduce you when you find like 5 places, when you actually find like 5 landmarks. So after something like that, if you fast travel back to the Prospector Saloon and go inside, you will meet up with the game's very first conflict. You can listen to it, but honestly, you don't have to. You can just go ahead and butt in. Try and track down the people that attacked me. You really don't need to talk to her all that much. So I'm just gonna, most of the time you'll see me running through dialogue, and I'll just try to explain what's going on in the story. So right now we've been told about a man named Ringo and what's going on with him. This is another way you get introduced to the factions, by actually being talked to about it. So if you go ahead and ask what happens when you help Ringo or the Powder Gangers, this, like I said, is one of the first conflicts in the game. She also has a radio that I'm going to fix, so that's pretty good. You can keep talking about, you don't like him? Okay, this is the useless stuff, sorry. Anything interesting going on? Whoa, what? Oh yeah, the NCR. We'll be getting to the big conflict later. But her radio is over here. You can also check the cash register, and sometimes it'll have an exponential amount of bottle caps. So if you repair the radio, you can... there is a... Oh, cool. I actually have the barter thing, so I get more. Barter is kind of like speech, in where if you played Fallout 3, then it's not a % chance anymore. It's actually... you have to pass a skill check, is what it's been called a lot by... I've seen it in the wiki a lot, honestly, is where I found that phrase, I think. Anyway, it's a skill check. So what it does is it checks to see if you are high enough level, or if you've dedicated enough to speech to actually be good with it. As annoying as resetting was in Fallout 3 just to get the right thing, I still kind of prefer the older system, and I hope they bring it back in Fallout 4/5. So you can come up here. Like I said, we'll be coming here later anyway. So you talk to him. You can basically skip all the stuff if you tell him not to miss with that last option. Looking for a man named Joe Cobb. So I'm going to help Ringo, considering I never have not helped Ringo. So there's some pretty cool stuff you can find in here. First off, the safe in the floor. I don't have the lockpick for it yet. That's really annoying. I swore I did, though. That's fine. There's some other cool stuff you can find in here. Sunset Sarsaparilla, I will be getting to why I'm collecting all of these with a quest later when we go to explore certain areas. For some reason, you can take a lot of the stuff in here, but as soon as you get to the ammo, oh no, can't take it. So, now we are told to go talk to Sunny Smiles, but I think I'm going to be doing that next time. So, ooh, FOB is weird. So, thank you all for watching, and I hope you enjoy this part. I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.